Hey everyone, welcome to BCDL5 at the Warp Gate in Columbus, Ohio. Commentating with me for the first round is Susurus MTG himself, the prison Mike, the purple bandana. Welcome, Michael Coyle.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the first round of the BCDL. How many of these have there been at this point, Rob?
This is number 5.
Number 5. Yeah, I think it says that right there in the bottom left, I guess, conveniently. So going strong still.
Yeah. So tell us about your deck and your card choices, and just kind of how different it is from a lot of the legacy decks you see in the meta.
So sure. I hadn't touched the format for quite some time, but with BCDL coming up, I started tinkering around on the MitGo and tried out like 4 or 5 different lists. Always been a big fan of the Chalice of the Void decks. I think that card is probably the worst it's ever been right now, though. I think a Resolved Chalice has just become a lot less meaningful. Big part of that's Prismatic Ending, right? Like, seen that splash for in all kinds of decks, and obviously a very efficient answer. So playing like a strategy that put a lot of permanence on the board and kind of approach things slower, like these stompy decks that I was trying, were just kind of unappealing for that reason. And so instead I gravitated toward this sort of fast combo artifact pile. I've seen some people playing some stuff in this vein in the format recently, but most of them are on Echo of Eons, whereas this is strictly like a colorless pile.
So you are mulliganing, looks like, to 5 here. So what are you looking for in your opening 7?
It's pretty clear cut a lot of the time. What's a keep and what's a mull in this deck. You're really looking for a hand that goes on the first turn, especially. Obviously, I see the Yorion there. I'm unsure on the pronunciation of that, but that tips me off that it's Death and Taxes. So I'm not really worried about, counter spells or that sort of interaction. I'm really just trying to go on turn 1 here with my combo deck.
And
usually those hands are going to be some combination of fast mana, often like Soul Land, Grim Monolith, and Voltaic Key or Manifold Key will... that makes 4 mana, and that's going to cast Mystic Forge or Karn the Great Creator. And you kind of do your thing from there.
Yeah, so for those listening who might not have the list in front of them, the main deck is 4 Mystic Forge, 4 Mox Opal, 4 Chalice of the Void, 4 Defense Grid, 2 Basalt Monolith, 4 Ancient Tomb, 4 Manifold Key, 3 Inventor's Fair, 1 Paradox Engine, 4 Karn the Great Creator, 4 Urza Saga, 1 Ensnaring Bridge, 4 Serum Powder, 1 Expedition Map, 4 City of Traders, 4 Grim Monolith, 4 Lotus Petal, and 4 LEDs.
I think we're maybe actually picking up in game 2 here.
Yeah, this looks... Silence, right? Yeah. I'll have to yell at our video editor.
A lot of spells in one turn.
So... unbeknownst to us, we are picking up a game 2. If you would like to direct any comments, you can direct them to @Minifer on Twitter. Thanks for your help, man. I do appreciate it, but any comments on missing game 1 can be directed towards him. So you play out the Paradox Engine.
Paradox Engine there. I'm in a rough spot here for sure. This deck is very soft to Deafening Silence. You can see with the shuffling of the cards there.
So what are some of the hate permanents you don't want to see against this deck?
Yeah, absolutely. Deafening Silence. Not a permanent, but I think really common in decks like DnT that aren't blue for the permission. We've been seeing a lot of sideboard Mindbreak Trap recently. I think I've definitely been getting got by that a lot of the time on MitGo. That's obviously very punishing as well. When you're blowing your whole hand to play like a turn 1 Mystic Forge or Karn, and they just 1-for-1 it for free. It's pretty devastating. So I'm getting fielded here. I don't have basics in my deck. It's a rough place to be. I pointed out that the Plains comes in untapped there. Played a little bit of Field of Ruin in Modern.
Yeah, this Yorion 80 card deck, it has an odd mix of cards, to try and give you the redundancy of the better cards. Field of Ruin being the 5, 6, 7, 8 wasteland, and
Yeah, I've seen all kinds of interesting sort of takes on how to fill out the rest of these DnT piles. Like I saw a list with Saga that I think 5-0'd. I don't know. As far as the companion mechanic goes, I think that's one of the better ones. Like 80 cards is like a real downside for everyone.
I mean, I
For
think
sure.
it makes it really interesting, and that's kind of cool to see that. And there's certainly some people that have crunched the numbers and been able to add some redundant effects to kind of reduce the the frequency you'd see the cards you really want to see, or the effects you want.
Yeah, it's a really interesting deck building challenge for sure.
So we've got Jit here and Stoneforge coming in,
Indeed.
slowly getting it done.
Yeah, the speed of the clock is rarely something that really matters when playing this combo prison deck. Like normally it's just, am I going or am I not in the first 1 to 2 turns. But definitely this hate card, opens up a lot. So that's a Hope of Gyroper off the top, and notably that gets around the 1 spell a turn restriction on Deafening Silence.
And that card before is Mystic Forge. Yeah, okay, that's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the foil Mystic Forge.
Yeah, I still had those sitting around from. I played a deck in this vein a good while back, before the printing of Saga. But
So what are your outs here? What are you looking for in particular?
so there's a one-of Ratchet Bomb that should be in the main deck here. So that would absolutely be one. I think I ended up getting an Ensnaring Bridge down here though, if memory serves. But yeah, just a really rough spot. Like when I played this deck previously without the Deafening Silence in the format, the DnT matchup felt a lot more favorable. But definitely, I think they win a lot of the games when they cast that card. Normally, obviously the DnT deck wouldn't be interacting until their second turn, with like the Thalia plays a lot of the time. So having like a turn 1 option is definitely a lot spookier.
Yeah, these constructs aren't anything to sneeze at themselves. I mean, this one here is a 6/6, and even with the JIT, Stoneforge can't just attack into it.
Yeah, no, you actually win a surprising number of games with the constructs, despite it being predominantly a combo deck. Especially the second ability on Manifold Key, when I played the deck previously before the printing of Saga, was just like flavor text, basically. But obviously making the large constructs unblockable can win games pretty readily.
Yeah, I like that Saga really gives quite a few decks an avenue of attack that they haven't had before, that to actually go on the beatdown plan. So I think it's a pretty cool card.
Yeah, it lets you pivot really effectively. I think it's great when cards like that, as opposed to boiling down to 1 shell that uses it best and that's all it's good for. Obviously, Saga, can be put into a whole breadth of strategies.
We've seen Saga, in the Jeskai piles, but it's even showing up in decks like Painter, and and you're able to use it as well. So I think it's cool that it's such a versatile card.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a Spirit of the Labyrinth, which is a 3/1, and I think my Construct, I believe, is what the card in the middle there is. Or did the Construct die? Yeah, that's my
The Construct was plowed.
I should say, yeah. A little bit of glare on the foil there.
Yeah. The shiny card is the Mystic Forge. So we exile the City of Traders. In hand, it looks like we have an LED, an Inventor's Fair, Can't quite see. Oh, another Mystic Forge? Is that what that is?
Ordinarily, of course, the Paradox Engine, Mystic Forge, and Grim Monolith just lets me cast the entire deck, but unfortunately in this spot, with the Deafening Silence in play, you don't quite get to do that. So that's an Inventor's Fair. So I think I get Hellbent next turn, and I can find an Ensnaring Bridge with the Fair. I think is my line here. To hopefully buy some time to find an answer to the Deafening Silence and combo off.
Yeah, so looks like in hand your opponent has a Skyclave Apparition, a Caracas, and I don't know, I can't exactly see the third card, but they'll go for the
Skyclave Apparition is another, like, you'll go under that a lot of the time, but when it's like a secondary piece of interaction, that obviously gets spooky. Yeah, I guess that's how I didn't die, is the Apparition comes down now as opposed to next turn when I'm getting the Ensnaring Bridge.
Yeah, not where you want to be if you're trying not to die. So Annmarie will pass the turn. You'll look at your Mystic Forge card here that you don't have. But
Did I just like look at my top card?
You did just look at your top card.
Oh my god. That's pretty.
It's okay. You did it again.
I didn't try to exile. Yeah, wow. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess. I mean, obviously, all my practice for this tournament was on Mid-Go. This is like the first physical round I've played, but that's obviously showing here. I think I just ended up discarding it anyway to Ensnaring Bridge here.
So you'll go discard Basalt Monolith and another Mystic Forge, crack the LED to go Hellbent, and get an Ensnaring Bridge, and then it looks like your opponent will read Ensnaring Bridge. Like, yeah, that's...
I'm actually still super dead here, but if memory serves, she misses the line with...
yeah, with
the... Say, of course, you can shrink your Stoneforge with it. Yeah, you're familiar with this line, I'm sure, Rob.
Yeah,
as
that's...
a Stoneforge player. Yeah, you can shrink it, go under the bridge, and pump it on the other side.
Yeah, so that's a tough break. I hadn't seen Annmarie before at our tournaments, but we're always glad to have new people. So it's great. It's great she came out, and happy to have her.
Oh yeah, no. Especially with Legacy, you love to see some new blood in the format for sure.
And the deck looks great. I mean, we've got the foils. I mean, certainly better than anything I put out there. Anyone that's ever seen my decks knows things are mismatched. Duels are as beat as I can find them, and they just generally look as ugly as I can possibly make them. So Annmarie passes
the other path there. Yeah.
Turn. We've got another Welding Jar. And
I think I just have those in the deck here because there's 0 CMC, and with like the defense grids and the chalices in the main, obviously those don't have text. So the jar is just like a 0 CMC filler card that I can flip off the top of Mystic Forge.
Yeah,
maybe we saw some disenchants in DnT historically, but I don't think regeneration generally going to have a lot of text. You can regenerate constructs as well, I guess, if combat damage is a thing. I'm trying to remember what number that came down on. It wasn't 4, which struck me.
Yeah, she cast Sanctum Pro. No dice here as a reminder either.
Yeah, I guess we're just leaving it as a mystery for the viewers.
It's okay. We'll figure it out. Looks like Annmarie's hand isn't doing a whole lot. Looks like 2 Caracas, a Plains, and a Stoneforge in hand.
Of course, Yorion can flicker the Skyclave Apparition and kill me here.
Oof. It's okay. I mean, these are lines to kind of think about. People may not.
For sure, yeah. No fault or anything. Like, I think these prison decks are good at just generating like weird board states. Not that I would call it a prison deck necessarily, but there's an Ensnaring Bridge in play at least. It's kind of unintuitive.
Yeah, so I think she sees it now. She'll go get the Yorion.
Oh yeah, I think I peel the Karn here. If I peel, so yeah, I think I peel the Karn, and I can just Mycosynth Lattice right now. The turn before the Yorion ends the game. It's how are people pronouncing that, by the way?
I've seen Yorion most commonly. I've seen Yorion. I typically go with Yorion. I don't know, just sound. I don't know. That's typically what I go with.
I actually can't Lattice, of course, because of the deafening silence. I think I have a walking ballista on the board that I'm trying to cast here.
So you float a bunch of mana, you play the Karn.
Yeah, because I can
untap everything.
I can cast more than one non-creature spell, but I leave the ballista on the board for this matchup. Although I think I actually boarded it in this game, which is a mistake, and I stopped doing after this tournament. But fortunately, it was exiled with Serum Powder, so it didn't get punished. But yeah, you leave it in the board to open up like exactly this line with the deafening silence. It just like lets your Karn do something the turn he comes down.
Yeah, so kind of what we got here. You float all the mana, play the big ballista. You could have untapped your mana with
oh yeah, I missed
Paradox Engine and pumped
pumped
even more. Everyone's rusty. There's, this is a great reason to go back and watch your matches. You can, maybe see a few things you missed.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so
for me, like, getting back into the game after however long of a hiatus and strictly playing on Mitgo, definitely, like, making the shift to playing in paper again was weird and more difficult than I expected.
So it looks like Annmarie will go for the Yorion here. And Flicker, I assume, yeah, so with the trigger on the stack, we'll just go ahead and shoot down the apparition. You've got a creature.
And the GTA turned off by Karn, of course. So
yeah, so that line is shut off. Now, and I think we're just...
Yeah, I could have 2 extra counters, though, if I'd seen the Paradox Engine trigger, though. That was a good catch.
So Ballista guns down the team. And you're still hellbent. We're just at a point where we just float mana, pump walking ballista as big as we can, and without a plow.
I think I can just lattice the game here. Fortunately, you have the Mystic Forge shenanigans, but this deck also wins a fair number of games with Karn and Liquid Metal Coating or Mycosynth Lattice. Just attacking their mana or ending the game.
Yeah, you've got the 6 mana here with the untap the Grim Monolith, the Petal. Yeah. There we go.
Fortunately, did not get punished.
Yeah, you play it out. Sometimes better lucky than good. So Lattice comes down. And we're kind of deciding what to do here.
Trigger again, but game's just over. Yeah, and so the GTA shut off.
Yeah. So.
Okay, I got that one. Give me a little credit.
You got it. And she's scooping them up. No, she's reorganizing her lines. Okay. So she'll take another draw.
Yeah, hard. I don't think there's any deck in the format that can really win through a Lattice unless they can attack meaningfully, of course. But like the fact that it shuts off like Force of Vigor incidentally is such a big. All right, and I guess is that the match?
Yeah, I think you must have taken game 1, so that's the match.
Maybe so. I don't recall. Anyway, yeah, good commentating.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you joining us for round 1 of BCDL5. Do you have anything else you want to say about your deck or that matchup in particular?
Oh gosh, Oh, I mean, nothing really comes to mind. Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to see those kinds of non-blue decks when you're playing like a force check deck that's trying to go on turn 1 a lot of the time. So I was thrilled about the DnT pairing for sure. But as I said, those decks have really gotten some more efficient tools recently to fight fast combo with the Deafening Silence and the Mind Break Trap, etc.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see everyone in the next round.